15 races in the books for the Haas IndyCar Series in 2023, and it all comes down to this one here at the Pocono Raceway. 4 drivers come into this 50-lap race around the Tricky Triangle with an opportunity at the Haas IndyCar Series Championship. It's going to be a very fascinating and fast-paced race here at the Pocono Raceway to crown a champion in the Haas World Championship 200K, the finale race of the 2023 Haas IndyCar Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Pocono Raceway here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, as we are here to crown a champion in the 2023 Haas IndyCar Series. And let me tell you, this season has been all over the place in terms of different drivers going to victory lane, especially as of late. Well, our last 2 winners here are both in championship contention. The 2 winners of the duel at the Glen, John Andrews and Knapp, have a chance. But the 2 dominant drivers of the season, Lona and Aaron Abel, come into this race the top 2 drivers in points. But here's the big kicker. The order in which they are in, these 4 drivers are in terms of the point standings, are the opposite in the order in which they start. Lona has the points lead by 6 points coming into this race ahead of Aaron Abel. She starts all the way back in 21st. Aaron Abel is 6 points behind. He starts 16th. Knapp, our last winner, 22 points behind. He starts in the 11th position, and John Andrews, 39 points behind. A bit of a long shot. He needs to win here today. Starts 3rd. It's a great place to start if you want to get the race victory. Join alongside Matt Tuck for the call of this finale race. And Matt, it's a 2-stop race for these guys, unlike 1 stop last year. And that fuel window is going to be right around 17 to 18 laps for these guys. So what do these drivers need to do, especially the 4 in contention for the championship, to put themselves in a position to win the championship at the end of 125 miles here today at the Pocono Raceway?
Keep your car clean, keep yourself out of trouble, set yourself up for the second round of pit stops later in the second half of the race, and that propels you. Hopefully one of these 4 drivers is going to end up going home later at the day with the championship trophy in hand. And it's going to be interesting because, as you said, if you're sitting back there, Lona, Aaron Abel starting deeper in the field, you're like, uh-oh, we got to get on the jump real quick. And Knapp sitting there thinking, I could just scoot up onto the front of the field, and we'll see how it goes, though. This is going to be a very interesting title fight.
It will be, and of course, for you folks at home watching the race, you have the benefit of knowing how the points shake out, I should say, as the race goes on. You'll see in the top right corner of your screen the points as they run after each lap of this race, and it's going to be very tight initially because Lona is starting 5 positions behind Aaron Abel, so the way they start this race, Aaron Abel is only 1 point behind Lona, but the good thing is none of these 4 drivers, I should say, won the pole, so there's not that extra bonus point there, and there will only be bonus points awarded if any of these drivers lead laps in today's event. We'll have to see if that, in fact, ends up happening. You see the points format, of course, on your screen. Now, there are 27 drivers in this race here today. Both 26th and 27th will be awarded 1 point. But you see the rest of those positions right there, and of course a lot more points awarded the higher you finish. It's not a double points race, as none of these races in the Haas IndyCar Series are. So these guys are going to have to go for that win, especially John Andrews, Knapp. They're going to have to finish inside the podium position, and for John Andrews' case, he needs to win this race, essentially to have an opportunity, and he really has no control over what Lona does in this race. She may work her way from the 21st position all the way up through the field here today. It's a 50-lap race, half of the length of the Indianapolis 250. It's still a 2-stop race. We have a much smaller fuel cell this time around, and those pit stops are going to determine who gets this race victory. We could very well see a caution-free race here today, but these guys are going to have to be pushing every single lap, and that's how the pit stops will determine who gets the race victory. We'll have to see where these guys are in position when that first cycle begins, because the field will eventually spread out, and you want to be in that first group of cars after that first cycle of pit stops if you're going to have a chance at winning this race. We're going to go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from the Pocono Raceway, and if you saw single car qualifying yesterday, We saw the 94 of Noah Clifton win the pole position fastest time in single car qualifying alongside Logan Williams there in the 38 machine. There's John Andrews. He's 39 points behind, but still a mathematical opportunity. Starting in the 3rd position, winner of the first race at Watkins Glen last week. We'll see if he can get a 2nd win here today. Nicholas Sambadio alongside in row number 2. Bradley Bradshaw, Zachary Fitzwater in row 3. There's Angel Gutierrez, the Indianapolis 250 champion. Going to run this race as well to the inside of Eric Drew. And then Thomas Troxel and Tanner Parton make up the top 10. There's Knapp in the 98, 22 points behind, starting 11th. Aaron Abel in the 97, his teammate starting 16th. He is 6 points behind. And our points leader starting deepest of any of these championship competitors. She starts in the 21st position. Lona there in the 00. Well, Matt, who's going to get the race victory and who's going to win the 2023 Haas IndyCar Series Championship?
Well, it's going to be an exciting one here today. And I think whoever, I'm going to go a little too NASCAR here, but I think the winner of the race, I think, is going to take home the championship trophy. And I think that winner is going to be Knapp. I think he's going to be on to something here today. And I think NS Racing has a shot to go 1-2 here in the championship. It's going to be fun to see how it plays out.
It absolutely will. I feel like Knapp has a great opportunity getting this title as well. Has all the momentum from winning last week at Watkins Glen. I don't know about Aaron Abel and Lona considering where they start in this race. John Andrews still has a shot as well. Noah Clifton wants one more win here in his Haas IndyCar Series career. We'll have to see how it all goes down. We're green flag racing in the Haas World Championship 200K at the Pocono Raceway. Well, the inside line, incredibly getting the advantage there at the start of the race, and John Andrews all the way up to 2nd. Of course, he started 3rd, but was able to get around Logan Williams, who was still falling back on that outside lane. The 4 guys that started inside are 1, 2, 3, 4 right now here at the Pocono Raceway. You see the points as they run currently. John Andrews not in the championship position. Like I said, he needs to win this race and for Lona to essentially fall all the way back to have any mathematical opportunity. Sambadio there on Logan Williams. Go through the back of the field right here. There's Lona getting around Aaron Abel, so that's exactly what she wants. And Abel starting on that outside lane. It did not work out for him at the start of this race. It's still a long race here. We're only on lap number 2 of 50 here at the Pocono Raceway.
It is a long race. We've got to be careful here because we see a lot of times on these, not as much on not on the intermediates, because we see a lot of times on the intermediates it's just hop in the draft and get back to the front of the field. But track like Pocono, you can get a little more spread out in it as you get later into a run, especially with a higher fuel burn rate with these cars. Well, you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble if you're Aaron Abel and you start to fall too far back here too quickly and don't give yourself time to rebound. But John Andrews moving his way the right direction where he needs to be, just keeping that car up front, and he's gonna need a lot to go. He's gonna need a lot to go his way today to have a shot. But who knows? We have seen crazier things happen before.
Oh yeah, so we've seen so many crazy things happen on the channel. And at the time of us recording this finale race, we've yet to record any of the Daytona races you guys saw this past week as well, so keep that in mind too. We don't know what happened last night in the Valvoline 400. Hey, maybe Nicholas Sambadio won, who knows? But we do know that this race is going to play out a lot like this, a much different racetrack than Indianapolis in terms of the racing style. These guys essentially stay in a single file line the whole time, but it does not mean they're going to stay that way the entire time in each respective position. We'll see these guys swap positions occasionally throughout the day. Knapp is in 12th right now, and Lona in the 00. She moved up fairly well. There are 3 positions from where she started. She's 18th and still holding on to the championship lead as they currently run, even though 18th only awards 9 points. Jay Knapp's not far enough ahead in 12th with 16 to catch up. And John Andrews, this is where things get a little dicey. If he ends up passing this 94, he could take the points lead. It would be 51 points for him and Lona there in the 18th position with only 9. That is a 42-point difference, and John Andrews is only 39 points behind Lona, with Aaron Abel and Jay Knapp also a lot deeper in the field. And John Andrews should be going for this race lead. Try to get that extra bonus point for leading a lap and maybe have an opportunity at getting past the 0-0 in the points. That's how it is right now. But it is difficult to make a pass here, as you can see. Noah Clifton has led every lap so far here. The 6 laps we have run in this Haas World Championship 200K. And we're going to have ourselves a cycle of pit stop right around lap 17 of this race. So keep that in mind as well. These guys have to be up front in order to have a good opportunity at winning the race once that first cycle of pit stops comes around. And right now, Lona is still mired there back in the 18th position. So if it stays that way and she continues to fall back and John Andrews happens to win this race, Andrews could steal this title away 39 points behind.
Well, and if you're John Andrews too, get out front, lead a lap, get a point. Lead a bunch of laps, get 2 bonus, get that second bonus point. That could come crucial later in the race, especially if you see a lot of these drivers struggle to get to the front of the field. Holding steady, they're right there though, just following in Clifton's footprints here. This is the part of the race where nobody's really giving it. Nobody's really taking anything here right now in the early going in Pocono. Everybody is mostly single file throughout the field, but John Andrews, this is the kind of start he needed to make up that 39-point deficit here, which is a monument, even with the way the points are skewed to the top, of the finishing order in the IndyCar Series point system. 39 points, though, is still almost a full race, and to be able to overcome that in the championship finale, if he pulls this off, is going to be one of, I'd have to imagine, one of the bigger final race points comebacks we've ever seen in this series / on the channel in at least a very long time.
Yeah, and the funny thing about John Andrews, he is the most experienced driver of all these guys battling for this title, and he's got more experience than everyone else combined as well, so that may come into effect. Of course, this is a non-rating series, but we always like to pretend that these guys have been racing a long time, have the upper hand on the rookies. It's difficult to make moves out there here today. There's so much grip on the track. It's a cloudy day, and I think that is affecting the way these guys race. Everyone kind of just content to stay in line, try to stay in this draft and have an opportunity getting a good run off the pit lane during that first cycle. We're already halfway through the first stint right here. So that's how quick it's going to go for these guys in their fuel run. But only a 2-stop race, especially if this race stays green. If we do happen to get a caution at some point, that would majorly shake things up here at Pocono, and we could see ourselves 3 stops in this race if that ends up happening. Lona still in the 18th position, but she is safe as long as John Andrews doesn't try to go for the race lead, and that's the big kicker right there. It's difficult to make any moves right now, and Andrews has not been too aggressive on this 94, so we'll have to see if he can find a way around him at some point in this race. Bradley Bradshaw running 3rd right now. How about our Indy 250 champion of Angel Gutierrez, trying to get a second win here in the Haas IndyCar Series and only his 2nd start. Of course, won his first ever start in the series at Indianapolis back in May. And yeah, Nicholas Samedeo right behind him there, running in the 5th position. Great run for Samedeo here in this finale race. Logan Williams, Zachary Fitzwater has yet to get a win all year on the channel. At least we assume that's still the case. Like I said, we've yet to record any of the Daytona races up to this point. Maybe he did win the truck race at Daytona a couple nights ago. Logan Williams looking there on Samedeo, but no run there for him right now. Eric Drew right behind the 81 machine, and it's Tanner Parton and Thomas Troxel. Jay Knapp is down in 12th still. And just no signs of these guys moving up, at least as of now. But we will get to that cycle of pit stops, and then I think these guys are going to start racing it out, because those guys are going to know they got to be up in that first pack in order to have an opportunity at winning this race. And John Andrews exactly wants to keep himself up front in this event, because he knows he's got to win this race in order to win the championship.
And he's got to keep himself out of the clutches of Bradley Bradshaw, who timing and score may not say it all, but looks like, well, lost a little bit there coming out of turn 3. I think Andrews is going to give Clifton a little bit of a sweat here. It's a 1/10 of a second. We go down into turn 1. He's as close to the gearbox of that number 94 as he's been all race. Can't get close enough here in the draft as they go through 1 down the long pond straightaway. I think Andrews is starting. Somebody's getting on the radio for John Andrews, telling him, be like, hey, we need to go here. This 34 Bradshaw looks strong, and now's the chance to get yourself in position to possibly try and undercut Clifton, because just seeing how hard it looks like it's going to be to move up through the field today. Some of these drivers got to start looking around being like, hey, do we need to pull a strategy card to make a move happen here? Logan Williams, God bless this 38, as he seems to be one of the only people even trying to step out of line right now, but
didn't work for him.
Oh boy.
And the draft right now is just so strong that these guys really can't step out of it. Otherwise, they're going to lose a lot of ground, and I think that's the case we're seeing right now. And like I said, the grip on this track is just so high because it's such a cool day here at Pocono. You got the clouds hovering over the track, and there's just not a lot of room for error for these guys in terms of them going around the racetrack. There's so much grip, they do not make much of a mistake here when there is as much grip as we have. Of course, we got more grip here than we do at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that's why we're seeing the race we're seeing right now. Everyone's still staying in line, but this race is going to get interesting at some point, especially when that cycle begins, because these guys are going to be scrambling all over the place once that cycle begins here in just a couple of laps, and we'll have to see who peaks down first, because John Andrews, like you said, may try to undercut Noah Clifton to try to take this lead. The way it's looking right now for him, only needs that one position. Lona still there in the 18th position right now. We're just going to have to see if John Andrews can take the race lead at any point here before the cycle of pit stops begins. So got to watch out for Bradley Bradshaw, though. That 34 is also very quick. It's probably going to be the last race for American Motorsports here in the Haas IndyCar Series, and Bradshaw under fire now from Gutierrez, who had a great run there through turn 3, and how about this 16? He might be able to get it here in the turn 1.
Gutierrez is going to line it up. Not going to have enough of a run down the front straightaway. Bradshaw had a little bit of a bobble there coming through turn 3. It opened the door for Gutierrez. Gutierrez just, the draft effect, not as much. Well, it looks like we're starting to see his F1 term here, but that DRS train was just, everybody is stuck in the draft, and nobody's really able to gain, pull away. Is what it is here early on in the race. Andrews, I think he got a big run coming out of the tunnel turn that time as we head down into turn 3, following in the footprints of Noah Clifton. Just cannot get close enough here to break through and get around, even get all the way up to the gearbox back for the 94. That bubble just floats between about a 1/10 and 2.5 tenths of it, or 2/10 of a second there. See, Clifton pulls him in 1. Andrews pulls up onto him in turn 2, and then it just is what it is down coming out of turn 2 in the tunnel turn. But at the very least, if you're John Andrews, you got to be happy at this position. Oh boy, Bradshaw though is not. He wants to move forward here.
No, he might have a shot here. There we go, looking down in the turn number 3. He actually might be coming down the pit lane right here. I think that's the case. And here we go. The cycle's going to begin. Both of the American Motorsports cars coming down. Logan Williams and Bradley Bradshaw. Then back in the field, Vargas, Master, Raymond, and John Stewart. None of the championship competitors coming down the pit lane. This may work out in the favor of these guys who stayed out, though, because they're still in this draft right here. And I imagine most of these guys are going to come down next time by. A little bit of a shuffle there between Troxel and Tanner Pardon. We actually did have a pass right there between those two guys. Moves everybody in the back up a little bit. It's not exactly what John Andrews wanted to see. However, all John Andrews can do is win this race, and I think he's still in a great position to do so here as we begin our first cycle of pit stops here at the Pocono Raceway. Let's see how it all goes down. Clifton has led every lap so far here in this Haas World Championship 200K. Everybody else coming down the pit lane right here. We'll have to see how good of a stop this 21 has in comparison to the 94 if he can jump him here on the pit lane.
Now, the one thing those two American Motorsports cars do have, though, working an advantage for them, there were about 5 cars on pit road when they pit in total. Clean entry, clean exit. This is a hold-your-breath moment for some of these championship contenders.
I would imagine it's going to be a 4-tire stop as well for these guys, due to the fact that Tire wear is very significant here, especially in turn number 3. You see how much they slow down.
Oh, Andrews
in that
stops first.
corner, and Clifton with an issue in the 94. A little bit slow, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered for John Andrews in the 21. But here comes Bradley Bradshaw in the 34. And now the race is on. This is where this race is going to get very interesting because these guys are spread out now. And with that being said, they may end up having a better chance of getting runs on each other, considering that they're going to be in smaller packs. And how about that for John Andrews? We're going to have to see where Lona ends up cycling out at the end of this. But
Aaron Abel is in last.
Yeah, Aaron Abel. 97. Wow. Again, another huge issue on this 97 team. And just think, he was going into the last race at Watkins Glen, the points leader, then wrecked out, and now he's dead last year at the Pocono Raceway. Such a tough break for him. Not a good run for Lona as they cycle through. She's 19th. John Andrews is the leader. Oh boy. John Andrews, as of right now, is your points leader here at Pocono, but still a long ways left to go here in this championship race. And Angel Gutierrez doesn't care at all about this championship. He wants another race victory. He wants to go 2 for 2. And he may give John Andrews some trouble here in this race. But Andrews needs to win the way they currently run right now. Lona all the way back in here in 19th. And that 00 a little ways behind Trey Smith right there. If this race stays green, Aaron Abel's out of it. And then Lona in the 00 is really the only other driver because Jay Knapp also had a very tough pit stop. He's all the way down in 21st. That's not going to work for him. So the way it's looking right now, it's between John Andrews and Lona for this title. And if Andrews wins this race, which it's very possible that could happen, he might win the championship from 39 points behind. And just as you said, Matt, be one of the biggest comebacks in the finale race of a series we've ever had on the channel. But Gutierrez in the 16, he's got a good run off of turn 3. And like I said, he doesn't care about this championship. He's going to try to go for this race victory here today.
Gutierrez, correct me if I'm wrong, only has one other start on the channel?
Nah, he's been making a lot of starts in the Sprint Series, but only a second start in the IndyCar Series. But he won that first one at Indy.
Having a 2 for 2 record, being like, have 2 starts, 2 wins, that's certainly something that not everybody gets to flex. It would be a moment for him, but this is gonna be interesting. Those 2 American Motorsports cars, it didn't work out for Bradley Bradshaw as much as I think he wanted to. It worked for Logan Williams, was able to jump a couple of cars, but they've also been able to separate themselves now. And this pack really was just the entire field equally spread out in one train. These top 4 drivers have now separated themselves a bit, and even amongst the top 4 there's a little bit of separation. It's going to be interesting now to see as the rest of this race unfolds how the draft plays out. These drivers being able, can they get a little bit more fun? Can we see a little bit more passing and shuffling going on up here? Have not seen a whole lot of passing yet so far today, but John Andrews is okay with that. Because John Andrews sitting there being like, got the lead, has a shot here if he can lead all the way out to the next cycle of pit stops and maybe hold that lead to get that extra bonus point, and it's going to be on from there. But the undercut, going back to that, those American cars, the one thing they did play is they got the clean pit road, didn't have anybody to slow them down, didn't have any slow stops, and even if they're not in contention for the championship, it's an important thing there to remember. If you're sitting there and you're Lona, Jay Knapp, and you want to take a swing at it, and we don't get a caution before this race comes out, you're Lona, you got to think about doing an undercut and giving yourself track position by pitting with a more clean pit road later in this race.
And here's the thing for Lona, she doesn't even need that many more positions to win this championship, even if John Andrews wins. 39-point gap coming in. Now, Andrews does have the bonus point for a lap led, but that really doesn't matter. Well, it matters quite a bit. And if he leads the most laps, let's assume that John Andrews gets 52 for winning this race. 39 points, the gap. That would be, let's see if I can do the math here. 52 points, 39. The difference there is 52 and 39 is 13. So that means that Lona would need to finish actually 13th or higher if John Anders leads every single lap and wins the race. Because John Anders would have the tiebreaker on Lona on wins if they tied on the point standings. Because Lona only has the one win on the year at the Indy Road Course, as something happened to Bradley Bradshaw.
Uh-oh.
Something's amiss on the 34. Was running third at the time, and now he's down the pit lane as we're halfway here at the Pocono Raceway. That is such a tough break for Bradshaw, and that's going to end his chances of getting a race victory because he cannot make it from here with the 17-lap fuel run. That brings Fitzwater up to third. Logan Williams now down the fourth, and Clifton, who led the majority of the first part of this race, is now in the fifth position. That's going to bring Lona up one, but she is still quite a ways behind. And like I said, if John Anders leads the most laps and wins the race, he needs to finish at least 13th or higher in order to win the championship. So that's the scenario we have right now for everyone. Aaron Abels is too far behind at this point. He's still in contention as he's still in the race. And Jay Knapp as well. But they're going to have a miracle happen. A caution maybe, and them cycle to the lead if they're going to have any opportunity. So halfway through this Haas World Championship 200K, Angel Gutierrez, though, if he gets around this 21, it's not going to matter for Lona because that 21 needs at least 41 points, and for Lona to finish dead last in order to win this championship. And he'll get 41 points there, but Lona's not going to finish last the way this race is going. So, going to be interesting to see if Fitzwater brings in as the caution is out.
Oh my. Oh. Who did
this changes everything here at the Pocono Raceway. Not entirely sure what happened there. Bradshaw's back out. And I'm not seeing anything.
What in the world?
Wondering if possible debris caution, maybe? Maybe? Oh boy. John Anders did not want to see that. Here is the thing. They cannot make it from here to the end of the race. So do you come down here and have to pit again later on in the run, or do you wait and then pit when you have to and go from there? That is the big question.
Ooh.
This is a huge opportunity for Lona to move her way through the field in the 00. So they wait for the pace car to come and catch the leader. Noah Clifton has still led the most laps in this race. Andrews has not been awarded that extra bonus point quite yet. This got interesting, and it looks to me like these guys are going to come down the pit lane. Will anybody stay at? If I'm Lona, maybe a bit of a stretch, but I might stay out here. If everyone, especially ahead of me, comes down, get that extra bonus point for leading a lap. And then maybe just try to go off strategy, because the way it's looking right now for the 00, only unless she gets a good run on the restart here and moves up through the field in that. We'll have to see. Let's focus on the cycle here first. It looks like everyone's coming down right here. And you're definitely going to be left out to dry if you stay out there. Of course, Bradley Bradshaw a lap down in the 34. Nobody's out of the race, so it almost leads me to believe that we just had ourselves a debris caution here. That make things a little interesting, maybe. The game's playing tricks on me. I tell you, this game has really been playing a lot of tricks on me as of late. We've seen some wacky things in the races that we have had as of late here on the channel. But here we go. You got to be clean here on this stop, and now you still have one more stop left to go in this race. Looks like some guy's going 2 tires only right there. I think they're all going 2. Andrew's going to barely win the race off ahead of Gutierrez. Christian Vargas going to move his way up to 3rd. Christian Master up to 4th, and then Logan Williams in 5th. And Clifton still on the pit lane. Jay Knapp with a huge issue there. It's not a good run for a lot of these guys. Look at Lona, though. She had a great stop in the 00. Oh, boy, and she's in the top 10 now. That is exactly what Lona needed.
I am curious what the 00 strategy was versus the 2 NS racing cars. I could not tell, but it looked like that Jay Knapp, it looked like they had the left side up on that car. It looked like they took 4 tires, which I have no idea why you would do that. Anything but a fuel only, honestly, anything but a fuel only stop there seems ridiculous if you're that far back, but John Andrews has to be sweating just a little bit more now than he was a couple of minutes ago.
Hopefully this 34 will get out of his way. Doesn't have to deal with Bradshaw. But maybe that'll work out. Maybe he'll be able to save a little bit of fuel, and that may come into effect here. So this race, I did not anticipate it being as lackluster as it has. In testing, had a lot more passing for the race lead and all of that. And like I said, a cool day here, a lot of grip on the track. These guys stay in line when that's the case, especially on a track like this. But now that we're going to have ourselves a restart, things could get very dicey. We'll have to see how it all goes down. First, let's see what happened, if we can see what happened, to bring out the first caution of the day here in the Haas World Championship 200K at the Pocono Raceway, the finale race of the Haas IndyCar Series. Let's see what brought out the yellow flag to give us this mid-race restart here at Pocono. Well, here we go. This is a questionable caution. You see the lights come on right there, and there's nothing. There's nothing around the track. And it was the instant Bradley Bradshaw ended up hitting the racing surface, which is kind of interesting because he's going in a straight line, and it triggers the yellow flag. We'll go ahead and just say it was a debris caution. We rarely get cautions like this in the game, but how about that in this Haas World Championship 200K? John Andrews didn't want to see that. Lona had a great pit stop here, and she's going to be restarting near the top 10, and we'll have to see if she can hold on to it. But like we said, Lona needs to finish 13th or higher, assuming that John Andrews leads the most laps and wins this race. Let's go ahead and get to the restart. Let's see how it all goes down in the final race of the season in the 2023 Haas IndyCar Series. We are back here at the Pocono Raceway, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Not sure what triggered the caution, but you guys have seen what that was, and well, we got 20 laps to go when we cross the line here. And you know, you're saying that someone may stretch it to the end. I don't know if we're going to quite see that, but who knows? We could have ourselves a very tight race here, especially if we have pit stops right near the end of this race. John Andrews is the race leader. Angel Gutierrez is second. Christian Vargas is third. The runner-up in the Indy 250 wants to finally get a win. Logan Williams almost got the win at Chicagoland. He got denied by Nicholas Amadio. Christian Master, Angel Oliveira, Roy Ribbleton, Cole Raymond, Zachary Fitzwater, and how about that stop for Lona? That caution was a huge, huge saving grace for this team. They were 18th when that caution came out. Now, she has nothing to worry about. As long as she finishes 13th or higher in this race, assuming that the NS cars do not end up moving up through the field, she's going to have a good opportunity here at winning this championship. Bradley Bradshaw way off the pace, though, as the race leaders try to get around him. This is going to get interesting. Vargas going for second on John Andrews there, or on Gutierrez, excuse me. And he's going to try to get to Andrews, as this 34 is definitely a menace right now.
I thought for a moment that white and green car and somebody else who split the middle that I'm sorry I don't know the numbers right now. Gutierrez is getting absolutely shuffled out of line here. Did not get a good restart. I got absolutely caught off guard by how slow Bradshaw was in the 34. And I think we were both wondering before the restart, what would the pace of that 34 car be like? Well, come to find out, there was no pace in the 34 car. And I think is where the caution came from, but just dropping like a rock. And now the interesting thing's going to be, is this 34 car, not to pull some Daytona witchcraft, but
yeah,
this 34 car, if he dropped out of line again, be an issue in about 15 laps or so?
It may be sooner than that at that pace. I think these guys are probably lapping at least 30 miles per hour quicker a lap than that 34 right now. So we'll have to see. Christian Vargas is second. And then you have the 38 of Logan Williams in third. Gutierrez looking to regain some ground. There's some grip there on that lower line off the exit of turn 3. And Gutierrez is going to get it to work there on Logan Williams. But after all that, Lona is still 10th, so it doesn't really matter right now for John Andrews because Lona is still top 13. She needs to finish 13th or higher in this scenario. Right now, Lona, if I do my math correctly, has a 6-point lead and a 7-point lead on John Andrews, assuming that Andrews ends up leading the most laps. Williams through the tunnel turn for second on Vargas. And you don't think Logan Williams cares about this championship, do you? He's going to go for the lead. trying to get it here
Oh,
on
boy.
John Andrews. He was looking for it there, but not able to get the run quite yet. But how about that pass made on Vargas, and he could have a shot at this race victory. And if Andrews doesn't win this race, it's essentially over for that 21. So Lona in a great position right now. But Lona's got to be careful not to lose any positions from where she is.
American Motorsports going to have two jacks in the two whatever to figure out how to decide this championship. Logan Williams can seal the win, or Bradley Bradshaw can pull the Dustin Davis. But Logan Williams shot out of a cannon there, got by Vargas, and then I think was so close there to going down into turn 3 and getting around John Andrews. But now this is a great opportunity for Logan. He can start to get into his groove here, hunt down the back of this 21 car, and also start working to set himself up for that pit cycle that will come, I'm going to say, about lap 47, 48, which is going to be an absolute mad rush down the pit road later in the race. But that is Luna, and that is another position she just moved up, I believe.
And she's still in the same position right there, trying to make a move on Fitzwater, couldn't do it. I think the only place you can make a move is a tunnel turn, and Williams trying it there on John Andrews, unable to get it. But I think this 38 has a chance at getting around this 21. Now, at this point of the race, I do believe Andrews has led the most laps in the race, but he has yet to clinch the most laps led. Now, with that being said, I don't think Noah Clifton's going to lead anymore here today, considering where he is right now. We got a battle right here. Gutierrez, if he can keep the inside on Vargas in the 1. We know Cole Raymond's got the inside on Master. And Raymond, who won this race last year, by the way, is now up to the 5th position. As here we go, Logan Williams going to try to close in, heading into the tunnel turn. He's peeking, he's looking for the race lead. And we got ourselves a new race leader here at Pocono. Logan Williams takes it away on lap 36.
Almost took more than just the lead away there. I thought they were going to touch. That was very close to the tunnel turn, but that 38 car is just hooked up at the north end of the racetrack right now, and he flexed the muscle of that 38 machine as these top two building themselves a little bit of a cushion back to Vargas. And now this is where you're Andrews. You got to start thinking long and hard here about what the game plan is going to be. Do you try and fight Logan Williams here on track? Or do you just simply, hey, we're going to keep in his tracks, get as close back to the rear of that 38 car, and then set ourselves up for about 10 laps from now when everybody goes bulldozing down pit road and be like, undercut, get out in front of that 38 on pit road. But I wonder, it could be interesting. We have not seen this 21 have to get past anybody in a while. Mm-hmm. Now he's going to have to get past 38. And if he's not careful, he's going to have to get past Christian Vargas, too. And I don't know if anybody's going to be able to overcome that if he gets passed by Vargas. But the laps are winding down here. It is certainly not over for John Andrews. It's still right in front of him, quite literally. But he's going to have to be very careful here how he makes his next move.
And like I said, John Andrews needs to win this race. He has the most laps led in the bank. And I'm wondering if he let Williams take the lead knowing he had that, and then tries to draft him here to save a little bit of fuel. So on that last stop, he can be as fast as he can on the pit lane and get right back out. That might be the strategy that we're seeing out of John Andrews right here. Lona is still 10th, though, and it's not going to matter if Lona finishes 13th or higher, but she's also going to have to make a pit stop. And does she fall back? Her pit crew was great on that last stop, getting her up to this position. They're going to have to perform one more stop in order to have an opportunity. I don't think Bradley Bradshaw is actually going to become a factor because he's just too far ahead of these guys, and I don't think he's falling behind at enough of a rate for these guys to catch him before the end of the race, or much less before we get to a cycle of pit stops. So it's a race from here on out, and a clean one at that. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Logan Williams looking to finally get a win this year. Like I said, almost got the win at Chicagoland until Nicholas Amadio denied him at the end. The closest finish of the year. And I'm sure he'd love to get the World Championship 200K. Definitely a huge race, the second longest race of the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. And Williams could pull it off in what is most likely the last race for American Motorsports here on the channel. That'll be a huge one for that organization. But Andrews still hanging in there. and Lona still in the 10th position.
John Andrews, though, either way, if he... I don't have the point numbers in front of me. I mean, he's going to need, even if he gets back out in front here, he's going to need something else to go his way, even if he wins the race and Lona stays in the 10th position. That's just, there's not enough numbers on the table for him to overcome that. But these two are gapping. They're rebuilding a little bit of a gap here on Vargas. And he said, stick in the draft, use a little less fuel. This is going to be one of the more intense final couple laps here we've seen. There's so much riding on the line for John Andrews, Lona, Logan Williams as well too. I mean, not too often you see an organization that is as long history as it's had on this channel, and by all looks that it's about to be closing its doors here. And it would be very cool for Logan to get that last victory for an iconic organization and see some more passing down into turn 1.
And John Stewart there on Christian Master. That's for 6, but no effect to our championship right there. But Master is slipping back. That could be another position for Lona. And like I said, Lona needs to finish 13th or higher. And as long as she does that, she's got the title in the bag. However, if she finishes 14th and John Andrews wins, Andrews ties with Lona in the championship standings. And Andrews has the tiebreaker with 2 wins on the year compared to 1. So Andrews, regardless if he does tie with Lona, needs to win the race in order to tie with Lona. He holds the tiebreaker. So that's the big difference right there. And Andrews knows that he's got to win this race, but I think as you're saying, we're coming down to another cycle of pit stops right at the end of this thing. And I think he's just trying to save a little bit of fuel to make it to the end and maybe not have as long of a pit stop. Either one. I'm sure he'd love to make it to the end and just win this race outright and Lona come down the pit lane and finish 15th. That would be the perfect scenario for John Andrews. He's got the most laps led in the race, so he's got that extra bonus point in the bag. The big question is, will he get the win? And we're closing in on the finish of this race. We're going to find out in 7 laps here at the Pocono Raceway.
John Andrews took about a little over a 10.5 out of Logan Williams' gap. And I noticed that was a little odd there. Suddenly Logan Williams opened up about a 4.5 of a second gap there. Kind of abnormal the way we've seen this race play out. Usually most of the gaps have stayed between about 2.5 for the lead. And then John Andrews slowly reeling him back in. Wonder if that was fuel saving. He's got to start to wonder though behind him because Luna... Oh boy, here we go.
I think we're seeing some of these guys come down, and we are. Andrews coming down right here with Logan Williams. So they're not really pushing it too close, I'd say. However, Lona is still out there in the 0-0. We're going to have to see which cycle ends up winning out here. Top 3 came down, and then Cole Raymond, Christian Master, a lot of guys who were up front came down right here. And will it be fuel only? Will it be left sides only? These guys took right sides on that first pit stop, I do believe. And we're going to have to see. They will go left sides here. Of course, some guys in the back already coming off here. You got to drop the jack right here and go. And, oh, that's a tight one there with Vargas and the 21 of John Andrews. Rest of the drivers going to come down behind them. Andrews not going to lose too much ground to Logan Williams. But like I said, he still needs to win this race. So he's got to get around this 38 if he's going to have any opportunity. And now the rest of the drivers coming down here. Lona in the 0-0 in the middle of all of this. How will her pit stop end up shaking out? Looks like it's going to be left sides for her. Oh, we got maybe a little contact there between Fitzwater and Gutierrez, but not going to affect the 0-0. Solid stop out of the 0-0. How many cars will beat her off here? And looks like about 5 of them going to beat the 0-0 off. They're almost 3 wide coming off the pit lane, and here come Logan Williams, John Andrews. Look at Fitzy in the 81 pulling away from these guys. How about that for Fitzwater? And Andrews, that was tight there with Gutierrez off of turn 1. And it's looking dimmer and dimmer for the 21 team. And a good stop out of Lona. Able to stay in the top 10. She's under fire now from Roy Ribbleton and Caleb Rose. But where she's running right now, she's still in position to clinch the title. How about this? Zachary Fitzwater has gone all year on the channel without a race victory. He is one of 2 drivers going into this year who have won in every single year of competition on the channel. Nicholas Sabadio got his win earlier this year. Fitzwater is still yet to go to victory lane, at least as of the time of us recording. And like we said, he could have won the truck race or the cup race over the past couple of days. But it's looking good for Fitzwater to maybe steal this win away. Lona in a battle right there with Roy Ribbleton. She's side by side with Ribbleton right now. But she currently runs in the 12th position, and that's all she needs to clinch this title. Neither of the NS cars have any opportunity at this point. We'll see if Logan Williams closes in here. 3 laps to go at Pocono for Zachary Fitzwater and Dog Pound Incorporated.
Logan Williams took 0.3 of a second out that lap, but that 0.3 of a second isn't going to get him in there in enough time. It'll get him to the gearbox of that 81 coming out of turn 3 on to the checkered flag. I wonder if Fitzy was one of the only people who decided we're just going to send it and go fuel only, which I'm so surprised more people didn't. You only have a couple laps, 10-mile dash to the finish, not even of this race, and everybody, all these championship contenders, John Andrews took tires, Aaron 8, all the NS cars took tires, and just judging by his ability to jump up here, looks like Fitzy might have been the only one to take fuel only. Well, that fuel only call might burn him here, Logan Williams. It was a 1.1 seconds. It's 0.9 seconds. It's going to be too little too late for this 38, but he is on a heater here as he chases down Zachary Fitzwater.
We're going to have to see if Williams can close in. Once he sniffs that draft, he might close right in and surpass him, but we got a lap car in the way, and we got a lap and a half to go here at Pocono Raceway. That 38's closing. He's getting a lot closer, and I think he's going a lot faster. Warm up those photo finishes. Will we get a finish here at Pocono? When the Cup Series was here a month ago, had a caution right at the end. Not going to be the case here. I think we're going to have a good finish to this one. White flag in the air. One more lap in the season. Will Logan Williams get the win? It's looking like Lona has clinched the championship, but who's going to get the last victory of the season? Will it be Logan Williams or will it be Zachary Fitzwater?
Fitzy's got that draft 2 from the 34 to help him down the long pond straightaway. That might be the difference maker for him.
Oh, Williams is coming. A lot of speed gain there through the tunnel turn. One more corner left to go here at Pocono. Will Fitzwater be able to hold off Logan Williams? This 38 is trying to close in. I don't think it's going to be enough. Zachary Fitzwater is going to win the Haas World Championship 200K. And your 2023 Haas IndyCar Series champion is Lona in the 00 in her rookie season of the series. Wow.
Oh, boy.
That, for the way that race played out, that was an exciting finish. How about that for Fitzy? Finally going to victory lane in 2023. I'm sure he is relieved. He joins Nicholas Sabadio as the only 2 drivers who have won in every single season, every single year, I should say, of competition on the channel. Not enough for John Andrews. He'll gain 37 total points here today. He needed to gain 39 on Lona. That was not the case. Lona finishing 11th. It is clear and obvious she is your champion. How about that for Shane Lake's team and Dog Pound Incorporated? They get the win and the championship all in the same race. How about that?
Boy, oh boy.
And I think Aaron Abel blew up at the end there. It doesn't really matter. It's a tough race for NS Racing. Jay Knapp was nowhere to be found all day, and Aaron Abel finishing 25th. They were just non-factors, but this race, qualifying meant quite a bit, I feel like. John Andrews started in the 3rd position, finished 3rd, but like I said, he needed to win the race and just lost his opportunity right there. And Lona did everything she needed to do, finishing 11th, just maintaining that points gap. And it helps for her that Aaron Abel had a lot of struggles early on. and fell back in this race. Jay Knapp also had a tough pit stop there. And, her pit crew is what really won this race. That's what determined this race, were those cycles of pit stops. And Zachary Fitzwater with a great pit stop at the end. Like I said, I think he may have gone fuel only, and that ended up just working out. If there's one more lap, Logan Williams would have taken that win away from Fitzy, but not the case. And Zachary Fitzwater, I believe that is his 27th career win on the channel. Most all-time of any driver on the channel. Of course, assuming that Sam Badillo did not win twice over the week with the Daytona races, regardless of the fact, Zachary Fitzwater is still atop the wins list with his 27th career win. Well, Matt, it was a very unique race, no doubt about it, but definitely an interesting way to end the season. And the final thoughts on this one here from the Pocono Raceway.
It was certainly a race. It did not play out the way I think we were expecting it to play out, but I mean, Logan Williams gave it everything he had there at that last 3 laps, almost made up 1.1 seconds in 3 laps, which is quite impressive in any car, especially in an Indy car when you take into account the amount of downforce and drafting and all with these cars. But Zachary Fitzwater, a huge strategy call by that 81 team. They had nothing to lose, and they get to play the upset here in the final race of the season. And Lona, that caution flag cycle for whatever on earth it ended up being. I think it was the 34, but that pit cycle there where they were able to jump a couple cars ended up making a difference. It wouldn't have mattered. Even if John Andrews had won that race with her finishing 11th, I don't think it wouldn't have made a difference. I think she would have won by about a point. So it's a great way to cap off the season there for that team as well. They're securing the championship. For Dog Pound Race Incorporated, you say? I know that guy too. He won a championship for me, so it runs in the team.
It does. What a race for Dog Pound Incorporated. Angel Gutierrez finishing 4th. They won the Indy 250, they won the World Championship 200K, and they won the IndyCar Series Championship, all with 3 different drivers. How about that? That's impressive out of Shane Lake's team right there. And, wow, what a season here in the Haas IndyCar Series. And, it obviously was the second banana of the Wawa Cup Series this year, no doubt about it. And I don't know what this series is going to look like next year. I am definitely rethinking what it's going to look like next year, trying to make it more worthwhile for everybody. I feel like there were times where, what was the point at some point, especially with the Wawa Cup Series lighting it up this year. Everything's on the table for this series. We do know the Indianapolis 250 will happen. That is a guarantee, but everything beyond that is a question mark going into 2024 with the IndyCar Series, so just keep that in mind. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Type it in the Discord, type it in the comments, give me some suggestions on what this series should be like and, how I could fit it into my schedule and all of that. I'm intrigued to see what you guys have to say, but hey, how about this race? Zachary Fitzwater gets it done, and, considering the way this race was, this was very much like a realistic oval race in IndyCar because it was difficult to pass out there. Logan Williams made essentially the only on-track pass the entire race on John Andrews. Fitzwater was able to jump everybody there on the cycle and stole the win away. We had one caution right in the middle, but all in all, very happy with the way this race played out. And just a very unique event to end the season out here in the Haas IndyCar Series. What a week it has been. Obviously, all the Daytona races, I'm sure they were all great. And like I said, I haven't recorded them yet, but sure I had a lot of fun. Next week is the biggest weekend that we have had all year long. The Wawa Cup Series finale. Sunday, September 2nd at noon Eastern Time. Yes, Sunday, not Saturday. It's that big of a race we're going on Sunday for the Mellow Yellow Southern 500. I don't know, Matt, if you're in contention. I don't know who's in contention because, like I said, I've yet to record that race you guys saw last night, but you all know what's up with that. And let me tell you, it's going to be one heck of a championship battle there at the Darlington Raceway. And I tell you what, it's anyone's game, I feel like, in the Wawa Cup Series at this point. Excited to see who gets it. It is going to be such a great race, and hope to see you all there on Labor Day weekend. We also have ourselves the Rowdy Energy Pro Series from Winchester coming up on Thursday. The Sprint Series finale from Darlington is on Friday, and then the second race of the Turkey Hill Truck Series on Saturday. And then once the Wawa Cup Series is done, it's just the Pro Series and the Truck Series, and we chill out a little bit in terms of the racing, but this is one of the best times of the year on the channel in terms of racing. The IndyCar Series is complete, and Lona is your champion in the 2023 Haas IndyCar Series. Congratulations to Zachary Fitzwater for winning the Haas World Championship 200K here at Pocono. And congratulations to Lona, your 2023 Haas IndyCar Series champion as a rookie driver. Not the first time it happened. It happened last year with Brian Rodriguez. And, wow, that's definitely a huge one, especially considering she missed the chase over there in the Sprint Series. Great to rebound for here for Dog Pound Incorporated here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, here are the final point standings for the IndyCar Series in 2023. And on behalf of Matt Tuck, I will see you guys later.